today's celebration, if you will, is for Chicago Hurricane. Chicago Hurricane today's great 28.
Yeah.
Man, how you feeling?
Man, I'm good, man. Just extremely honored to be a part of this, this process, and feels good that all my hard work is paying off.
All my hard work is paying off.
Hurricane, usually you're behind the scenes, you're with the artists. I mean, several different celebrities you have brought on our show, but now you're the one that is like, you're getting the flowers. You're the star of the moment. How does that feel?
Weird. I'm literally always behind the camera, like literally behind my artist or celebrity that I'm currently working with. But it feels good though.
So Hurricane, man, I've known you forever, man. I've always known you as a dude that lives life to the fullest. You know what I'm saying? You're a daredevil or whatever. But there's a side of you I don't think a lot of people know is like you're giving back to the community. Talk about your charter school and stuff and the efforts you've done to try to bring education to shorties and areas where that type of education doesn't get to them.
You know what? So it's actually I own Choice School.
Okay.
If you're familiar with the Choice School program and the charter school program, when you open up a Choice School, you're your own district. So you don't have to follow the set of rules that the charter schools normally have to deal with. So when you open up a charter school, you actually have to be voted in by that board in the district which you're actually in, and you have to follow their curriculum. So when you open up a choice school, you have to follow the federal guideline, and then everything else is just a la carte. So I have a education program of like teaching all my kids Black history, not just for 1 month, but there's a Black history course throughout the whole year. We have a finance program, so we're teaching literally like second graders, we're teaching them about finances already. And then when you get to the component of just like having gym, we have different trade programs. So it's just like a whole situation where we bring all that to one.
Hurricane, I want to ask you, like, for all of the things that you do, whether it's the school, whether it's philanthropy, whether it's, artist management, you know what I mean? Like, let people know, like, where you're from. What part of Chicago are you from? And how did you even get started down this path?
Oh, Southside, man. Actually, I got my start with riding motorcycles, with being a stuntman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So riding motorcycles used to be very, very, very popular now, as far as like doing the stunts. And I took doing the stunts to another level. I created like this acrobatic method of riding motorcycles where I would twist around, jump off the bike, flip around, stand up on the bike, things that the average Black person wasn't doing. So that geared the notoriety from like the likeness of like Michael Jordan, Twista, from different many Jay-Z, Rockefeller, so things of that nature. So that's how I got my start in the entertainment business.
Yeah, and talk about some of the people that you work with now, because everybody doesn't know your resume.
Oh yeah, so current clients: Michael Blackson, Ray Shrummer, Wale, Corey Hardrick, so yeah, and a host of others, Kenny Galladay. So yeah, we working, man.
Listen, man, I always tell this story. I'll never forget. We was doing a live broadcast with Queen Latifah. And I just looked to the left and I see this brother coming down the street on a bike, standing up, holding his arms out like Jesus on the cross. And I said, this is cool. So it does it about 3-4 times. And each time it's a different pose. It almost got to the point that it didn't look real. And then he pulled up. He's like, yo, man, Chicago Hurricane. I said, you Chicago crazy. That's how I met this brother. And Queen Latifah was like, yo, you getting it in. So I literally see where you could plug into a celebrity or they fascinated. But let me ask you a question, dog. Talk about Chicago. And I've always felt like Chicago has a problem with networking amongst each other and opening doors for each other in a certain space. Do you encounter that sometimes living here? And how do you overcome that, man? Because sometimes I feel like in Chicago, people withhold stuff, you know what I'm saying, for fear like they won't get the same accolades if they turn it loose.
You know what? Yeah, I agree with you 100% in that space. We and it's not just, I wouldn't say that it's a Chicago thing. I think it's just a culture thing. But I've as far as me and my brand, I try and help as many people humanly possible elevate to the space that they need because I'm only one person. So in any project that you work with on a major scale, you have to have a team. And without your team, you limited to the amount of resources that you can bring into the fold of even you being with the management program, the influencer program, whatever you're doing, you need a team backing you to help you elevate to that next level. So what I noticed in Chicago was that it's kind of like we had it like that crab in a barrel. I feel like more people want the clout of being a certain person or a certain brand than actually wanting the business of what we supposed to represent. So they don't even really care about the money. They just care about the name, like getting their name out there and who has the bigger name and who has the bigger brand. And it's just is ridiculous, man. And it's getting to the point where like it's hurting us all because even if you take like the nonprofits, for example, I have so many like Fortune 500 companies reach out to me and say, "Hey, Hurricane, we see what's going on in the city, but we just don't know who to help because it seems like everybody is kind of like using their platform for self gratification and self gain as opposed to using it for building up the community." So that hurts us as a whole because they don't look at this one nonprofit or one brand and say, "We're not going to help them." They just say, "Well, we don't know who to trust at all. So we just not going to do nothing. And we're going to send our funds, send our funds somewhere else." So the same thing with the business. 85% of the business that's done in Chicago is outsourced. Like they don't reach out to us because we have this crab in the barrel mentality. So I think if we, pull together and look at it from that perspective, like just look at all the movies that's being filmed, right? Like Power, and, The Shot, and all these other, the majority of the production team and the majority of the people that run these shows are not even from Chicago.
Facts. Well, look, Hurricane, you're definitely doing your part to break some of those cycles, support the community. You know what I mean? And that's what today is all about. So we celebrate you today, man. Chicago Hurricane, today's great 28 recipient. And man, just thanks for taking a couple of minutes, man, with us. You know what I mean? You've been a homie for a minute, but today it feels good to kind of give you your flowers. So salute to you.
Yeah, I
Yes.
appreciate it, man. I
And I do
appreciate
have
it.
to say, on a personal note, Hurricane's like one of my closest friends in Chicago, and I do not take our friendship for granted. You let me go on your yachts. You taught me how to ski, and I just, I really appreciate you. And I remember when I first got here 7 years ago, I ain't mess with you like that. We had a really big argument, and I was happy that we've been able to come to a positive space.
Yeah.
You
I ain't
remember
gonna,
that?
And see that, you know what, Kendra, just what you said right there, I think that's the problem with majority of like, I guess, influencers or movers and shakers. It's the ego thing. Once us as a whole, once we get past that ego situation, then I think we'll be a better people. Because me and you, like, look at the relationship and the foundation that we have now. If we hadn't had a conversation and we both wasn't on that same level of understanding what we should represent as Black people or just people in general, then we would have never been able to come together and do some of the great things that we've done or be a part of a great project. Because even like when we did like the movie premiere, like you supported every event that I've done with every one of my clients, and I appreciate that.
I ain't gonna lie, dog. I ain't want to give it to you because you like to ski and snowboard and you got Cal out here on all this white people stuff.
No, he ain't got me on it. We
I know,
talked about
you
this the
got.
other day,
Let's
didn't we,
go
Hurricane?
skiing. What you gonna do next? Curling, hurricane.
That's right. Curling and spotting.
Ice hockey.
That's right.
So you know what I do, man? I try. So I went to. So my mother. I'm from 61st and Everhart, right? But
Right.
My mother moved me to Blue Island.
A lot of ski slopes over on 61st and Everhart. Yeah, it's a ton of
No.
snowmobile courses.
So what I've been crazy. So I ended up going to school in the suburbs in Blue Island, which was predominantly white.
You went to
So-
Eisenhower?
No. Well, I went to Kern Middle and Kern Intermediate. I went to grammar school there.
Okay.
I didn't go to high school. I graduated from Thornwood. So that was still
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
it's a predominantly white school as well. So what I noticed when I was going to grammar school, we had programs. We had like the Cubs program where we were riding dirt bikes after school. So that's how I actually got good at riding motorcycles, because I was immersed in that culture. So I was able to take that culture that I was immersed in from going to grammar school and bring that back to the hood.
But how did that translate into snowmobiling and skiing?
It's all the same.
That's a culture thing. So that's what I grew up. The kids that I went to grammar school, you know, that's what they did. You know,
they had the big hill over there too in Blue Island.
Yeah,
That everybody
You ain't gotta listen, Hurricane. You ain't gotta explain yourself to that man. He's missing out. He's missing out.
I actually have a skiing program, Leon, where I take 200 inner city kids to the ski slope with a partnership with North Face, and I teach all the kids how to ski. So, you know, when we create that culture of like, okay, all right, this is for us, by us, and because actually a lot of people don't know that, you know, hockey started with black people invented.
Yeah, black people, they did. Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So look, if we let, you know, it's just by our circumstances that we don't have the opportunity to do certain things. But if we create this ambiance of that, hey, we could ski, we could, you know, ride motorcycles, we could snowmobile, we could jet ski, we could swim, we can
You
boat.
laugh when you even said snowmobile, because you know that the only reason I'd be mad about it, because Kyle be like, man, I wish you could snow, because I'd like to ski.
Yo,
I don't want no snow.
I love all of that. Me and Hurricane talked about this. Our backgrounds in that regards are similar. I was riding my friend's snowmobile at 12 years old, so I already know what you're talking about.
Well, I know how to ski now with no poles, and all because of Hurricane taught me how to ski. And when I post that video, they're like, "Who's skiing backwards?" He a black man and know how to ski backwards.
Yeah. I know how to shovel it.
All right, well, look, man, we gotta go, man. But look, real talk, man. We appreciate you. We salute you, man. Today is all about you. Chicago Hurricane. Today is great. 20
Chicago.
It's truly an honor, man. Truly an honor, man.
See you in the summer on the boat. I'm not messing with you during the wintertime, bro. I don't love you during the winter.
Yacht, my brother. Yacht.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yacht, my brother.
See? Get me out there in the city, sir.
Let's go.
I appreciate you, man.
All right, thank you.